The sound test room.
Hello and welcome to the Sound Test Room. My name is Jakob, I'm your host, and you're watching a pre-release video of KLEVGR's ENKL. 1 or 2 months ago, I interviewed Johan Sundhage, one of the developers behind Squashit, Vandelay, R0VERB and Svep. Now those four are effect apps. This time it's a synthesizer. ENKL is not out on the App Store yet. This is a pre-release video, but it's also a complete guide. If you put an E between the K and the L, it spells ENKL. ENKL in Swedish means simple, and this synthesizer is very simple to use, but you can make some really complex sounds. This synthesizer is actually perfect for those of you that likes to make chiptunes and SID-based sounds. ENKL will also be released as an VST plugin and AU plugin. ENKL comes ready with audio bus support and in-app audio support, so you can hook it up to anything you like straight out of the box. I can also add that ENKL supports all kinds of MIDI, so yes, it is core MIDI compatible. You can use this with any keyboard. 2 oscillators. These oscillators can be added, subtracted, or multiplied. The oscillators have 4 different types of waveforms that you can choose from: triangle, sawtooth, square, and noise. As you can see here, you have a round button saying filter. This is where you turn off or on the filter. With this off, the button is no longer lit, and that means the filter will be bypassed and the signal will run cleanly without any filter on it. These sliders here are the phase offset. You can get some really interesting fat sounds by changing the value in these sliders when you have both oscillators on. It will shift the position of the waveform. Here is where you change the pitch of the oscillator. The top slider sets the octave, the second slider sets the note offset, and the third are for fine-tuning. And here is where you have the gain of the oscillator. Next we have the LFO. The LFO has 2 modes. AM means amplitude modulation. FM alters the pitch of the oscillator. Next you have the waveforms of the LFO: sine wave, triangle wave, sawtooth, square wave, and noise. These LFOs also includes an envelope. The first slider is attaQ, the second is decay, the third slider is sustain, and the fourth slider is release. And as you can see, there's a graphic animation of when I'm changing the sliders. Then we have the gain slider. Lastly, we have the frequency. Note that if you have your LFO set to AM, amplitude modulation, you will not hear any sound when you pull down the gain to 0. In the middle we have the global controls. With the glide knob you can set the glide rate. Note that glide will only work when you have legato on. You can set the arpeggio speed with the arp speed knob. To turn on the arpeggio, hit the arpeggio button. The arpeggio is simple, so you won't hear it if you only play one note. You'll start hearing it when you play multiple notes. In the middle here you have the global envelope. As with the envelopes for the LFOs, the first slider is the attaQ, the second one decay, the third one sustain, and the fourth one release. To the sides here we have the filter controls. The LC knob controls the low cut frequency. The HC knob controls the high cut frequency. The resonance knob controls the resonance of the filter. The attaQ knob controls the filter response time. It sets the time it will take the high cut filter to reach its destination value, depending on which note is played. This big knob is the master volume. ENKL also includes an FX section, and here you can find that very useful 3-band equalizer that are included in KLEVGR's FX apps. You also have a delay. You turn the effects on by clicking these buttons here. That means it's on that means it's off. The equalizer is very straightforward. Low frequency, mid frequency and high frequency. The delay is also very simple. Here you set the time, the feedback, the stereo spread. Here is where you set the mix of the signal. You can also swap from left to right in the stereo field for the delay tail. Down here you have a question mark. When pressing that, it will take you to the documentation of ENKL. Down here we have the keyboard. On these two arrows you can switch the octaves up and down. To the right of the keyboard you can find a magnifying glass, and when pressing that it will bring up this. This only exists on the iPad version of ENKL. This is a keyboard, but it's more than that. This will also allow you to modulate certain things. When pulling vertically, you can choose to modulate either filter, modulation, or have it off. When gliding horizontally, you have the option of modulating the pitch bend. You can also turn that off. Up here you can choose scales. You have chromatic, major, minor, and pentagonic. Here you choose your keys, and here you choose your octaves. Up here you have the preset list, and right now there aren't many presets because this is the unreleased version of it, but I have made some of my own presets. To save a preset you press save as, and it will prompt you to write a name. I'll just name this one preset save, and it saves it. Load it by tapping it and it's loaded instantly. You can also choose to save over it, and you can also delete it. That's ENKL for you. I suggest you go grab it, and it also supports in-app audio and audio bus. On top of that, this synthesizer sounds really cool. You have been watching the haQ show. My name is Jakob from thesoundtestroom.com. Please subscribe to my channel, comment down below, and as usual, Doug Woods, Colin Sweeney, and me, Jakob at thesoundtestroom.com, wishes you a very productive week.